What's going on, everybody? Mona Lisa and a pug here with Bryan Scarborough, Fixedairmoon.
Hey guys! Is this not the best pillow you guys have ever seen in your life?
It's pretty hilarious, not gonna lie.
I got it for my mom for, like a funny Mother's Day present. And because Winnie, R.I.P. Winnie, but...
Who doesn't love pugs, right?
Gosh, right?
So, hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
Had some Mercury retrograde things right before I went live that wasn't working out, so... Took me a couple minutes to hit the live button, but we're here.
When is that over, Mercury retro?
Oh, gosh.
Soon? It's gotta be.
What is it, like Monday? I think it's Monday. What's the date on Monday?
I think the 15th.
Oh yeah, I
the
think
14th.
It's right below. It's right before Jupiter comes into
Right? Like we should know
Taurus
this.
on the 16th. Kind of forget
should-
about Mercury sometimes.
We should know this.
Yeah, but it's
Hello,
getting there.
everybody. Hello, Fiona, Path Traveler, Knight of Cups, Rhiannon, everybody.
Hola,
Laura,
everybody.
Darlene, hello. Yeah, well, I mean, Mercury retrograde doesn't, I don't know. I feel like, I want to say it doesn't affect me, but I feel like, well, it's squaring our nodes.
Yeah,
Or my nodes.
Yeah, it's squaring
So-
my Venus.
Yeah, it is.
It's always little things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Mercury's just little things
Yeah.
for me. Like it's never anything that I would say is like ever like, oh my god, the biggest
Yeah.
thing ever happened. It's always
It's
like
just mental.
just something small. It's Mercury. It's the smallest planet. That's how I always,
Yeah.
envision it. And how it seems to play out. It's like, okay, I wanted to run 3 cameras for this, but I guess I, could have planned earlier and got it set up earlier, and I didn't, and ran out of time. Couldn't get, and I.
Oh, yeah, you had
Impatient.
me cracking
Hey.
the whip over here.
Hey.
I was just like, we could have, done that a little bit earlier. Well, I mean, listen, I always tell you, this is part of having your vertex on my Jupiter
Well,
and
it was a
Saturn.
last minute decision. I was gonna run just the 2, and I was like, oh, I could throw my other phone on and have 3. But I just
Oh, thank you. That's
Got the
very
links.
sweet.
mixed up in
Right back at you.
Yeah, in OBS. and- anyways,
Yeah.
Anyways.
North Node Aquarius
hopefully
problems.
it doesn't, cause
Thank you,
anybody anxiety.
RAKT.
Because that's what we were going to talk about tonight was
And-
anxiety.
Oh, yes, and this all did really, transpire because, had a
Little conversation
meltdown,
today,
had a
little-
fucking Pisces meltdown for no reason. And I was like, they shouldn't call. I was like, I was talking shit about Saturn too, but I was like, then I came to the conclusion after this whole, that I was like, Saturn shouldn't be the DEVIL. It should be fucking Mercury. Because I'm so mercurial that, God, I don't know. Sometimes I wish I just knew what it was like to not. I tell you this all the time. I have never in my life would have ever said I would ever want my mind erased because you work through you find the power through the pain. Like I'm a water sign. I want to feel it all. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind ever since 2018 getting my fucking mind erased.
Just like Men in Black, just someone come up with a pen and just... Or like Citadel, which was a kind of cool new show. I don't know, is that on Apple TV? Where's Citadel at?
It's on Prime.
Oh, Prime. That show's kind of cool.
Oh my God, yeah. We have
Guys,
to talk
memory
about some
erase,
of the
though?
shows we've been watching.
I don't know. I don't think I'd want my memory
I know.
erased
Well, I say
at
that and
all.
I wouldn't, but I mean, I think that having
It depends, I guess.
the South Node's been in my 3rd for so long, and it's just fucking mental, and I want to fucking dig and uncover all these mysteries, and it's just I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm
Cuckoo.
like an like when you fire off a rocket, and it's sizzling down
a
until it
bottle rocket.
explodes. That's what it feels like. It's like this. Yeah, it's very Uranian and electric. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. And so, so that's how the whole Jupiter and Saturn, because I told Bryan that when I was going to get my crown on today, this has been the longest process to get a fucking root canal. So I hope that this is one and done. That, I mean, what else are you going to do when you're sitting there in the chair except for, well, Jupiter's going to be in Taurus. And like, then it just went into, oh my God, this year's not going to be easy. Saturn's fucking in my 7th house and all my planets.
I know. Yeah, that was like what the like breakdown kind of like started as. Like it started with talking about like the root canal and how uncomfortable it is just to hold your mouth open for that long, and like why does it take so long, and like then it built up to Saturn in my 7th house to, I mean, just like it was just
I was like, it's
all
just
these
gonna...
transits. It was Chiron in the 8th. It was just every possible. Yeah. I was like, behave.
I know.
There's always, and that's like what there's always going to be a transit in astrology that we can trip ourselves out on.
It did.
Nothing's ever perfect. It's like, I just wish these planets would move. Well, guess what? They're going to move to another spot in your chart that's going to affect your life.
Well, it's not only that. It was like, I'm like, astrology is my language. I love astrology. Like, I don't like, it's like if people, we're like, what, how many languages do you speak? I'd be like, astrology, bro. Like, it's ingrained in me. It's a part of me. But there is like, where, I can't tell other people not to have anxiety about it. And like, I got to talk the talk and walk the walk. But there's, because knowing and being aware and using it as a tool is fucking magic and to manifest.
Yeah,
but
100%.
It
but we
it
can
is
also
magic,
use that tool as a detriment.
100%.
And just like take ourselves so far into the whats and the ifs and the ponderings.
This is gonna happen. Oh my fucking God! Like that's what it was for me today. And like obviously it was a moment, and then I was like, took a shower, and I'm like,
it was just a moment.
And that amazing experience that I had with your bruja.
Oh, yeah. Erica's...
Oh, my God. This girl, I had spiritual surgery on Monday. Like, it was... Oh, my God. It was amazing. Like, I felt like I was, like, having a past life situation, regression with a massage, and, like... I don't know. She cleared so much like
she does
negative
energy healing with massage therapy.
She's insane.
And she does so much more than that. I mean, she was my first mentor, like spiritually, and she was my Reiki mentor. Yeah, Erica Delta. We love you so much.
Yeah,
and, homage to you. She's
has
just
such
a beautiful,
gift.
Beautiful soul.
Yeah.
So I got to share that energy and share Erica with Lauren, and she got put under the spiritual knife.
Oh, I was like, I'm like having like this is spiritual surgery, like, and she was like in her she's so shamanic, like she is powerful, but she was like saying like how like water is cleansing, like even if you don't take a whole shower and wash your hair. And I've heard other like very much like witchy, like I mean she's a witch, she's a good witch, but she's like she's a witch.
She's a bruja.
Oh,
she's straight bruja.
She is a bruja. Like, she is powerful. But she was saying, like, like, even just to, like, cleanse the energy and, like, how important it is when you're doing readings, like, to like, it's not only about just calling in protection, but, like, who you're reading for and then, like, closing at the end. Because that's, like, what I had is I didn't have, like, any, like, ritual with that, and she's like, you have all this energy of your reading,
especially for
people.
A Pisces. Anybody out there with a Pisces moon, or you are a Pisces, like you need closeout rituals in your life. You're so open to energy. You could do and especially if you work with people or clients, or even like just I don't know, being a server at a restaurant, whatever it might be. Like you got to kind of close your day off, because Pisces there's no boundaries. It just absorbs everything and makes this like vast, ocean, which is beautiful, but at the same time can be treacherous for your own emotions and your own feelings.
Because she's like, a lot of what you're like even feeling isn't even like yours. And I'm like, well, I'm aware of that, but like, how to like yeah, be in just like your own like sacred space and have your own like ritual before whatever, if it's readings or I mean it is important when you're exchanging energy with a client, whatever spiritual service that is, like that is important. And yeah, it was all for the good. This girl is amazing. Like I had spiritual surgery, like meaning like I feel lighter.
No, it was in a good way. It was. Yeah.
I feel like I was like in an ayahuasca ceremony, and I most definitely have never done ayahuasca. Not that I want to.
Me too.
But yeah.
But yeah, it's just got to be right time, right moment. I'm not gonna like
right.
go downtown and be like, hey, where can I get?
She would probably know where we could. I feel like she knows a lot of like different practitioners.
She does, but she's not at this point in her life a huge fan of.
Plant medicine?
No, I wouldn't say she's not a fan of plant medicine, but she really does believe that you can get that accomplished without it.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
If I remember correctly, it's been a while since we've had that talk, but I don't think it's something she necessarily completely like endorses. She might though.
But maybe I'm assuming maybe once in her life she has had to have gone down that path.
Oh
no?
gosh, she's gone down many paths.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us have to go down many paths to get to.
Oh yeah.
The path that we're on today.
And she, and like Cambo, that's like another one that we should do. That is so purifying for your body. And I have done that once, but definitely want to do that again. Like that is a reset for your body. But I don't know. She is amazing. So if you ever find like an amazing practitioner, if you're ever in Grass Valley, that's where she's at. But
yeah, she goes by Erica Delta in Grass Valley, but she really doesn't do. She's starting to get more into technology and do more stuff online. Mm-hmm. She could find her on Instagram. I think it's Erica Delta.
Yeah.
She's in my friends following on my Instagram page, and Lauren's too, I think. So you can look there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Much love to Erica. She is a special, soul.
She's magical. She is like,
it was so nice to see her and hang out for a little bit.
A healer. I mean, she's
big time.
very, I could feel the energy, like, leaving that is her, like, gift. Because I've been to many practitioners and have not felt that, like, so, right? It's just when you connect with that right energy.
Yeah, I think it's all about that. I think one person's guru or, alchemist in their life might not be the right one for the next person.
Yeah.
So it just kind of is
oh my god.
It's a resonance thing.
We should give them a rundown really fast of like what shows have we been? Oh my gosh. That Servant show. Wow, guys. If you have Apple TV.
Oh, M. Night Shyamalan.
And I'm not into him usually. Like there are a couple of his movies, but he is he's Leo, but he is so Virgo with all those details. And I mean, he just has his own style. Like the guy is fucking talented, but I'm so invested in this show now. It's called Servant.
Confused.
Servant. Oh yeah.
7 episodes into a show.
We don't know who's crazy.
And I kind of like that about it. Like that's kind of something that's like keeping me intrigued is because like I don't know which one of them's crazy.
They might all be in a state of psychosis. Like
at first I thought it was definitely one person.
Yeah.
Then it went to the next person. Then it jumped to the next person. At this point, they're just all living in a crazy bubble.
Steph said she saw it. Yeah.
We haven't finished it.
We're invested.
So we don't really. I don't know. I don't even know how many seasons are there.
I feel like they want to make it out like it's. I think there's only one.
We're almost done with season 1. If they even give an answer to this chaos.
I mean, it's M. Night Shyamalan. So if you've seen any of his movies, like they're all just very, I don't even know, like artsy or indie. I don't even think that's the word, but they're just, I mean, it's his own
I don't know how to describe
style.
He's very unique.
But it definitely has to deal with like some type of like witchcraft or curse or something. There's something like in modern day, and it is. There's got to be people like that. I haven't finished it either yet, but definitely got my attention. Yeah, it is very interesting.
It's cerebral, right? Kind of gets you thinking. And that's the weird part about it is usually at this point in the show, I have it pretty cracked usually. I'm a pretty good
totally.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay. I have no idea. I just don't know. I don't know.
It's yeah.
I mean, the last episode kind of painted a better picture, but still. Anyways.
And Apple TV's got a lot of good series like SEE with Jason Momoa, and they all like they can't see, but that's a really great series.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I feel like I've tried to like, would you be down to watch? You would like it. You would love it. They're like, they're like warriors.
I'm always down for some Neptunian thing. Good night, Path Traveler.
Good night, Path Traveler. We've been watching Castlevania, which I love.
Oh, Castlevania is like the dopest show. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just went through all the seasons for my like 5th time, and I still just think it's one of the best shows ever, and I'm so bummed that it's done. But it ended. I watched like the finale 2 nights ago, and finished it again. And I was like, at least they ended the show good. It wasn't like a Game of Thrones ending, you know.
I should rewatch that. I'm a Pisces. I like all. Neptune is media. Like because I have to, I feel like it actually like grounds me. But if I watch too much like magic and spiritual stuff, I'm like, I'm too 5D. And then I gotta go and watch the reality TV like Scandival, Vanderpump Rules. And it just makes me feel better about my life. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then I know all their signs. So I'm like, look at these Virgos over here. And so it's like, I just apply astrology to everything. So when all of this shit is playing out on TV, it's like, wow.
I know.
You really see it playing out on that show.
Sandoval cry, I'm like, Cancer, what a Cancer
He's got to be a Scorpio rising because she's such an Aquarius rising, Ariana. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, Bryan's not really
super
into.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's just like a new one that's not even done with the first season yet.
Yeah, that's like action.
And then what's that? Look, the last time I saw him.
Oh, that's interesting. That's another one. That's on Apple TV. The last thing he said to me, and it's Jennifer Garner, and it's very
and Jamie Lannister. I can't pronounce his name.
I don't know what his
last name.
Jamie Lannister in Game of Thrones. Yeah, it just goes to show you that you never really know who anybody is.
Yeah, that one's crazy. Could you imagine? One being married to somebody and all of a sudden realizing they're somebody completely different.
But I do feel like he loves
being
her.
the daughter.
Yeah.
And being like 16 years old and
sure
then realizing
all the time.
Your dad is a completely different person. Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, psychological things. Those are the shows we usually get into. Something.
Oh, yeah. If it's not like fucking magic or fantasy or something very
weird.
Neptunian.
Yeah, something very weird, creepy, odd.
It has to be like, and I love crime TV. I love getting all like Scorpio and, yep, we never know. Hello. Yeah, we don't.
Yeah. Do we ever know?
Hello. I'm going to get a jacket, but why don't you go into we've already said why we're talking about all this, but what is the word that you put in the header?
Anxiety?
No, the casual.
Oh, causal factors of anxiety. Yeah, so what are some causal factors? I was thinking about that today, like what could be a causal factor in someone's astrology, and the first thing that came to my mind was Mercury, right? Because it's our mind, it's our head. So it's like, okay, well, is it a strong Mercury that's like really active mind, or is it a weak Mercury where it's just kind of getting lost and going into crazy places and doesn't know how to like find the point? Is it just a heavily aspected, like a really afflicted Mercury, whether strong or, in a harsh position or in a place doesn't want to be in? Or, squares from Saturn, right? Squares from Pluto, Mars, conjunctions, Mercury retrogrades maybe. Oh, Reese's Pieces.
Another squashmallow. It got me cozy.
So, yeah, I was thinking definitely like Mercury placements. And I think probably more than placement, the affliction. Like what's hitting it could cause anxiety. But then there's also your third house ruler. So I keep thinking like mine. So like third house ruler, sixth house ruler.
Thank you.
And then also the 12th house, because I think there's something very Neptunian about anxiety. Because a lot of it's stories and a lot of it's like things we make up. A lot of the times anxiety is a worry and a fear of something that
Well, I mean, we're in the age of
hasn't
anxiety,
even happened.
so it's like
it's like it's just a nightmare vision almost in a way.
Yeah.
It keeps you very uneasy and unsure. So it's also very Neptunian, 12th house.
It is, because that's where, like, when I say, like, the age of anxiety, like, literally Neptune and Pisces, like, it's heightened it so much. Like, when I was working in restaurants and stuff like that, and the hostesses that are 15 are like, I gotta go get my Xanax because I'm, going on a spring break to Cabo, and, and I'm like, spring break to Cabo? What are you going to need anxiety medication for that? You're going to be getting wasted.
Doesn't that supposed to be fun? It's supposed to be a good time.
I mean, because everywhere I worked, I was always like, it's like scanning and asking people, like, right? Like, what? And I'm like, anxiety? This is called life, baby girl. You better learn how to live in this crazy world without escaping it by feeling. Because the only way that you can transform is by feeling through the pain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's like when it's when my wake up was so crazy and everybody's like, oh, you should get on antidepressants. I was like, I fucking just got off of drugs on my own. I don't want to know. I want to feel all of this, because that's where the fucking work is when you actually feel it. And yeah, it was excruciating, but you realize how powerful you are and how strong you are and what your body and your mind will get you through. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying, listen, I think it's ridiculous to say that people can't go out and like have a good time, and you want to go out and have a drink or whatever, like even go out and just like party. But I think it's when it becomes a problem, an addiction, right? Anything can be an addiction. We've talked about that before. So right. It's not like nobody should be demonized if they're having, a drink or, it's just that if it's every day and it's repetitive because you're escaping what you're supposed to be feeling. Like, really, that's just the divine trying to break through.
Yeah, I think that a lot of anxiety, maybe it's more Neptunian.
Yes.
Then, I mean, it's a mix to me. It's probably why Gemini and Pisces square each other, in all honesty. Like, it's probably that archetype. Because we do need, like, healthy escapes, but at the same time, we still have to be here and, like, paying attention to something in life. But anxiety is, like, a great teacher, I feel like, from the divine, like you were saying, because it's almost like the universe is forcing you to deal with something inside of yourself.
Yes.
And not so much something that has to be done externally, but more of like what's going on inside, how the mind's creating situations, how you think about things, facing fears.
Yeah.
Because anxiety tends to, I'll be honest, I wish I've suffered from anxiety in my life so that I could really, like, from my own perspective, dive into the feeling of it and what that's like. But I honestly,
And there's so many different kinds. There's people that sometimes people just have, it's like mild, or then it can be fucking clinical where you can't fucking leave your home,
if anything,
and like
mine's
it's
extremely
paralyzing
mild,
you.
and it's more like a shyness almost. Like
I think everybody has a level of anxiety,
but definitely nothing where I'm just like,
right.
Oh my, know, because it's
not
crippling.
Gonna fuck up your day
for many people.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is like the universe kind of taking you 12th house to get you out of situations and come back to yourself and face either fears or thoughts and come to the acceptance of certain things, and then also learn how to transmute at the same time and let some things go. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it's things again that we're creating stories of how something's gonna go that creates an anxiety in the now.
Well, because in the same thought that I was going through all of my, like, the astrology in my head, laying, in the chair, then I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to live my life. Fuck it. Like, it's so bipolar. But I also have a lot of this, I feel like, in me, especially with like my astrology and stuff, is my moon square Mercury. Like I know so many people with moon square Mercury, and it's like, you know, the basic version that an astrologer would say is like, yeah, you have all this like emotion you feel, but like you don't necessarily know how to express it in the right way, or it doesn't come off in the right way. So it's like that does create, you know, some type of mental like anxiety, because you're just like, yeah, I don't know if I say it this way, if this person's gonna get it, or, you know, and my shit is Aquarius and Taurus. What a weird one.
Yeah.
What a weird one. Like my Mercury is strong, you know, but it's like blasting off, and then my moon is like fucking grounded and stubborn as fuck, and it's like what it feels or wants, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one. I feel like Aquarius paired with anything is a weird one, but
yeah, Aquarius.
Because it's so Uranian. My mind is, it's just like it would be like Uranus, like lightning bolts, and like that's how I feel. Like, who is that? Poseidon with the who
Zeus has the lightning bolts.
Zeus, yeah. It's just like he's like, are you getting what I'm sending you?
Yeah.
It's like, stop it.
But it's like you don't know where they're coming from.
No.
And it's just like these bolts are hitting you, and you like want to be like, hey, stop, but like, where'd you go?
I'd rather have it be a fucking
It's just like it's so in the
zoned
moment.
out
But
Mercury.
that's one of the things too, is like an afflicted Mercury, right? Like, so I talked about
Yes.
even like Mercury being afflicted by maybe Saturn
Mercury
or
and
Mars
Aquarius.
or Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
But even like you, Moon Mercury, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
square, that could be a causal factor in itself,
Yeah.
because the emotions and the feelings are in a battle. Like,
Yes.
you know, squares are like, the planets are kind of squaring off. Like, it's like
Yeah.
square up.
Yeah.
We're going to settle this.
Yes.
Which I think is a great thing
Yeah.
in its own right, because that's part of, if you have squares in your chart, there's no running from that square. You're going to learn how to make those energies work together, whether it's a struggle and it's hard, or whether you figure it out sooner or later.
Right.
One way or another, those two are going to, you know, figure out each other. So they're like looking at each other really well. But having the emotions and the feelings connected to the mind, gosh, the moment you get that emotional wave,
Yes.
and it goes straight to the mind, like, what is this? How do I understand this? This doesn't make
Do I trust this?
this doesn't make like sense. I can't
Yeah.
even find words to describe this feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think Moon too, Moon afflicted with Mercury,
Yeah.
Moon Mercury aspects could be another one. Moon and Neptune are, you know, both sensitive in their own right.
Oh,
like,
of
they have their
course.
differences, of course, but they're both very sensitive placements, very feeling oriented. So,
Well, Moon conjunct Mercury is very, that's like, Moon Mercury is, I
yeah,
wouldn't mind
conjunctions
having-
are really the most powerful.
I mean, she says with Pluto squaring it, so that
Oh,
might
yeah, there you
feel
go.
very, like, invasive.
That's a Moon and a Mercury afflicted by Pluto.
Because I'm like, Moon Mercury would be nice, but right, your Pluto
Which,
is
I mean,
assaulting it. Her
literally
Pluto
assaulting.
is assaulting
Yeah.
her Moon and Mercury.
Because that's
Yeah.
that's these desires and these,
Yeah.
you know, passions and things that you'll get so invested in and want more than anything in the world, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you realize that maybe those things aren't actually what you want. They're not comfortable. You don't understand it, or, you know, you come off too verbally harsh and emotionally harsh on people, or people, you know, that way
Yeah.
towards you.
Mercury Aquarius gang. Yeah.
Mercury and Aquarius. I mean, Mercury's, I feel like that's a pretty strong Mercury placement. You know, I mean, I almost...
They say it's not exalted anywhere, but that it would
They say
be
it's
in.
not, but it would make sense.
Yeah, 'cause it's
because Uranus is like the
Uranus.
higher octave
Right.
of Mercury, so it like makes sense to me.
I mean, intuitively, it just makes sense, but I don't really.
But it's also a lot, because I feel like Mercury does really want the detail,
Yeah.
what's in front, how to kind of make sense of things quickly, and that is the thing about Aquarius, is it's a very complicated equation.
Yeah.
It's an algorithm we're like trying to figure out. Like, just think about Aquarius. It rules humanity. Like,
Yeah.
how well do we actually know humanity?
Right.
Like, we're still having all these conflicts with people, relationship problems,
God.
friend
Does
issues,
that ever stop?
wars with country. I mean, like, how well do we understand the other in this world, right? So it's already a place where it's like, well, that's a complicated equation, like, in itself. I think most people are pretty good at their...
Discerning.
Yeah, or just trying to be a good human. You know?
Right.
I
Yeah.
would say majority are there, but it seems to be the ones calling the shots, that the big shot callers of the planet that want
But they've
want to
always been
overpower
there.
the others.
They've always been there, even since ancient times.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very...
kind of just Capricorn, right?
Yeah. I mean,
It's like a hierarchy.
I'm sure at some point, like, everybody will rebel and it'll be like the purge, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to be in our lifetime.
Pluto and Aquarius will be interesting. I do think that, like, there's absolutely potential for, like, big power to the people uprisings, if you will. But I feel like the first step is, like, possibly take power from the people, because Pluto will kind of destroy and devastate before bringing that new life and that empowerment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 20-year transit, so...
We'll see.
I think it's not going to, obviously, it's not going to be like what Pluto and Capricorn was in 2008
No,
to now.
Pluto and Capricorn gave a lot of power to the system.
Yeah.
No, I think the power's in the people's hands. So
I think
I'm
that
down.
a lot
I'm
of people
excited
are
for
going to
that.
be like electrified. They're going to have this, right. It's, God, I was just reading a whole thing just on Uranus, just Uranus and the energy of it. But like, right, in your individual charts and then in synastry charts. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's fucking electrifying. Like it comes out of nowhere. So, that's why it's like, it's very unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's just different. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why people shock people all the time.
Yeah.
You can't, like, always predict what another person's going to do
No, and that would be
or
so
say.
fucking boring.
Right. So,
God.
like, yeah, Aquarius is always going to have that energy that's like, what did they say? Or what are they? Whoa. What? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it also, I think, helps people, like, find that unique spark, and
of
their
course.
electricity and their sort of eccentricity in some way too.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome. So yeah, Aquarius is...
Because somebody could
is
be
a
Uranian and not even have Aquarius in their chart. Like, that's the
yeah.
other thing. Like, I know so many people that are very Uranian and, like, even, like, Jupiter. Like, and they're, like, Earth signs.
Oh, but, they probably have Uranus on the ascendant.
Yeah,
or
and just,
square,
like, hitting all...
Square their
making
sun,
good...
square moon, opposite something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whenever Uranus is touching something in
Like,
your
it's
chart,
not...
brings that edge.
Well, and it's not only edge, it's like they just are like, yeah, I'm not fucking, like, in relationships or family, all of that. They're just like, no.
Yeah, even Saturn retrograde for people tends to make them more Uranian. So you'll find people with Saturn retrogrades tend to be more on their own path. Not really a big fan of taking...
Following the norm.
Yeah. Following the norm or taking orders.
Yeah.
They kind of like to make their own rules.
Well, speaking of...
Which is the retrograde of Saturn. Like, it wants you to internally understand your authority and not, take it from outside of yourself.
Right. Well, speaking of Saturn, because that's what, you had to bring me back down to reality today. Because when I went off... Saturn. Well, I was really I was all going cuckoo about Jupiter, really. And then I was going off about Saturn because in my personal chart, I fucking know that Saturn rewards that he does. But, right, he wants you to put in the work and all that. And Jupiter just, he just magnifies.
Jupiter, says you're going to get everything.
Right. And I know that that's not true
And then you get,
either.
some of it.
Yeah.
Or it kind of comes after you were expecting it.
Right.
Jupiter and Saturn together are so important in our archetypes and in our lives because a strong belief system that keeps you positive and motivated and just constantly trying to expand and journey through this life is so powerful to have that. So when you really believe there's something else out there, or when you really believe in yourself or think you can accomplish something, Saturn like gives you the goalposts.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of like shows you like, okay, well, if Jupiter's a journey, then there's check marks, there's checkpoints even like on the journey that you got to like hit and achieve, and you got to put effort in and like. But Saturn to me is what gives you the big rewards.
I
Like
do.
Saturn's-
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So
we all get on Saturn's case because he is heavy. He rules lead. It's Capricorn. It's not like necessarily fun. But when we, kind of suck it up, buttercup, and like put our back into something and like try and achieve and go after this reality, because we have to remember it's Saturn's reality that we live in.
Right.
It really is.
Absolutely.
It's the last planet we can see. He's got a hex on him. He hexed us all to this 3D reality. And, we came here to do just that. Like, it takes effort in life to get anything that you actually want. But if you have that positive belief mixed with effort, you'll get the money that you want, or the relationship, or whatever it is that you want. It's just, Saturn reminds us that it just takes effort to be alive.
Yeah.
And I know that's not cozy and comfortable.
I know.
We don't want that.
I know.
Trust me too.
111 views. Look at that. 111. We are in alignment. And I do believe that, it's not that I mind Saturn energy. Like, you need it. Fuck, if you don't have it.
No, I don't think you do.
I think it's like the transit for a Pisces, it's just like I don't have a lot of Saturn energy in my chart. Like, that's not my design, right? Like, I'm here to fucking guide and give hope and just, I don't know, fucking be magical. Just like I am in the way of Saturn. I'm here to like share wisdom, of experiences and all that. Like, all of us are. But yeah, Saturn, he's not a strong player in my chart.
Oh yeah, he is.
Well, I know you say that, but I don't like him transiting and gonna hit all of my
Saturn's
planets.
one of the strongest planets in your chart.
I know.
Exalted in Libra.
Right? And then Jupiter just expands everything in Libra. Like, everything's just it's always people, which I don't mind, because that is how you create abundance, through exchanging energy with people and all of that. That's always how it's been my whole life. But there is like that conditioning of Saturn that I'm just like, and as a projector, where I'm like, oh my God, if I'm not doing like something, then I'm, like, why am I even existing? Which is so ridiculous. Like, I don't feel like if I ever do relax like that, it's like, really, can I? Like, the rug's gonna be pulled underneath like me, which I'm sure a lot of people feel like that.
Yeah. I think the reality is definitely set up. Like, that is the program that's running for us, is
yeah, and I know
just
it's an illusion.
And to an extent, right?
Yeah.
To an extent, because again, it's like, if we get too complacent or comfortable or don't do anything, the rug does get pulled.
Right.
Nothing, lasts forever. So it's almost like, too, when we get those moments where we can kind of take the foot off the gas pedal and chill, gosh, savor those moments, too. Like, enjoy every bit of it. And then when Saturn comes knocking again and says, hey, did you enjoy your vacation? Because it's time to go back to work. We have to like willingly be like, you're right.
Well, and that's why
whatever it is too, it doesn't, and that's where I think we can deprogram, is it doesn't have to be a way that society or what we were taught, but like, what's the deeper urge you have? Like, what do you want to put your effort into and your life force and your physical body into that's actually gonna, that could be something huge. Like, who knows if it will be? Everything takes time.
Yeah.
And that's Saturn.
Well, and I think a lot of it is conditioning too from families. Like, come on, haven't we? That's why when I was telling that Erica, your brew, I was like, I don't feel. I know that to talk about things, it is healing for like everybody and like exchanging energy. But I'm like, right? We can sit here and say everybody's been through a lot of shit. So I'm like, why is what I got going on like gonna be? That's why I was like, I just don't really. And she's like, Well, as a Pisces, you can't do that because then your emotions and then you're going to fucking explode and go crazy. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually what happens.
No, I think it's good to share experiences.
Yeah, because I guess I'm like so conditioned to think everybody just has it hard. This is just how it is.
At some level,
and just gotta get fucking
everybody
through
has
it.
had something hard happen in their life. There's different levels, and it's not like one person's hard is going to be the same as another's. Like another's could be way harder or you know, devastating in their life at that time, or you know, less. I think it's just like relating that we all have to go through initiations. Because a lot of the time that's what it always is some kind of an initiation in our life.
I know, but it's like when we were driving up and I told you I was like thinking about the Tower card and just like different like the decks. And I was like, I just cannot fucking have any like, listen, I know we've all had Tower moments, but I'm like, it needs to like have like a couple year like fucking break of a Tower moment, because I'm like, that's where I think that I'm like, oh, can I chill? Can I really fucking chill? Or what? And that is a program, right? Like that I'm like, I need to be in the moment. Like I'm always either thinking about the future or fucking thinking about the past, and it's like, right, that doesn't exist anymore. And you know, and the future, fuck, I don't know. Anything could happen today. So I do always tell myself I have been telling myself to be present right now.
And like, I think too, it's like, okay, Tower moments, very much a part of our life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a day Tower moment. Sometimes it's an hour Tower moment. Sometimes you're in a Pluto transit and it's a 2-year Tower moment.
Yeah.
Not that like every day, but like, it's like, gosh.
Yeah.
Still, like, when you think about, I guess, the grand scheme of life, and I guess where you hope to go with life, because we never know when that's going to stop.
Of course
you know?
not. Yeah.
But, yeah, those moments or years or whatever it was are going to lead to the star, you know, to the sun, you know, to the world.
I feel like everybody should just wake up and listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza. I always like within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm out of my head. Like because this is what he talks about is obviously reprogramming the mind. And he's like, why does it take somebody dying or a cataclysmic, like for people to be like, I'm going to live. Yeah. It's like, right, that is fucking crazy. Like, why are you not like... living.
I hope that's something the South Node has taught us in Scorpio over the last, 16 months that it's been there, or 17 now. It's like there was so much fear that went around.
Of course. Just
in the collective, in our own personal lives. Yeah. I went through it too at moments with different things, and you gotta live. Can't live in fear.
I know.
So I feel like hopefully that's something we all, kind of learned. And I like what Elizabeth said, like, that she thinks, what'd she say? The next 3 years are going to be much more peaceful. And, like, you know what? With a South Node in Libra, because I do, honestly, I'll be honest with you, from what I've seen watching the planets and the nodes, is that the South Node's the one that we all see the most. It's... The North Node, we're looking for, like, pieces of it.
Yeah.
Throughout the transit. We're, like, just trying to kind of, like, stay kind of there. But, like, the South Node is what, it's what shows.
Yeah, very few go to the North. We were just talking about that.
And even just, like, the theme. So you'll see a huge theme with the South Node. And Libra is peace, harmony. And, gosh, I would love to see that. There's other things happening too that I'm just like, I don't know, maybe. Like,
well, of course, there's always going to be like a wrench that you gotta, work. That's going to get thrown in there.
Yeah, but that's going to be the thing with the North Node in Aries is kind of like just going the peace route and maybe a passive route might feel good, and it might feel really aligned and really beautiful at times. But there's going to be times where you're going to have to assert yourself and be very like Aries and be like, oh, gosh, I'd love to keep the peace and just follow where you guys want to go. But like, I hate that restaurant and everybody there. The food's terrible. Like, I'm not going. Sorry. I'm gonna go over here. I guess I'll go by myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's gonna force, I think, moments of alone time and making your own calls and not just doing stuff with other people. Those are gonna be the really like big learning curves for people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there'll be a lot of beauty and harmony with people too, and I think relationships will be something that are, you know, definitely popping, especially with Venus retrograding in Leo, with that node switch. And we've never had a Venus retrograde in our lives.
Oh, I know.
fully
I was
in Leo.
all. Oh God, I got
so, like,
all.
romantic relationships, I mean, could get a huge upgrade. Huge upgrade.
Right.
About really knowing how to like relate and swoon each other and love on each other and how to love themselves too in the process, to give that to another. So hopefully it does go there. I mean, definitely possibilities, especially I think for people that have just been doing the work and evolving, and I think that a lot of people are just spiraling up right now, so it's not so hard, I guess, to, I don't know, live and relate in this world. Yeah. But at the same time, it is pretty hard to live and relate. When I kind of like think about it, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's just my own.
I just
Sun,
think
Neptune,
we've been like
Sun,
through
Uranus,
so much
like
mental, like, because even though Scorpio's not necessarily mental, it still is fucking deep. Like, you still want to go fucking.
I think we all did.
But, and then like transitioning from Gemini Sag, which was so fucking mental, those nodes,
yeah,
into.
It was so mental and like the beliefs. That's why, I think South Node Sag was really what proved to me, big time. And even South Node Capricorn, because everybody was about starting a business. I even started a business with the South Node in Capricorn, 2 of them. A sunglass business and this one that I'm doing now. But like none of like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, I have all these goals and these things. And all of a sudden COVID hits. Yeah. And a bunch of things changed. And like routes got, you know, repathed. And then it was the beliefs. And that was the South Node in Sag where like no, I don't believe in COVID. Oh, I believe in COVID. Right. And this is scary and it's going to kill you and you're going to kill my family. And it was all a big belief. In the end, like, everybody's beliefs ran rampant. Oh. Yeah. You know, and there wasn't a lot of like Gemini going around. I mean, there was, but I guess in terms of like society,
well, no, that's the North Node. Who's going there?
There wasn't a lot of Gemini going around. A lot of it was just like preachy. Like again, South Node Sag. Believe this, blah, but this is the blah, blah, whatever the narrative was, like this, you know, where you had to like actually read something and go somewhere for yourself, like very Gemini, like kind of pivot. Well, yeah, and I think
you have to discern
and be discerning. Yeah.
It's just like I just mean like it's just been so mental. Like I can't wait for it to like feel like a hug.
Oh, it feels like a hug right now. Yeah, it's a hug.
Like when you were telling me at the beach yesterday, you're like, I had a dream and it was just all ending and we're like, we're going to be okay. And I was like, did we?
No, I didn't say we were going to be okay. We knew we were going to die in it and we literally did disintegrate in a hug in that dream, but we weren't scared. It was just like, that was see you.
And I was like, did we die? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, but we were together. That's why we weren't scared. So, I mean, right. Like, you gotta get through the flames. But, yeah, it's been, I mean, who knows? It's always been wild. I mean, there's always gonna be, I just think that it's because more souls are coming online and, like, awakening that's why it feels so, just intense and
yeah, and you see through a lot of the, you put the glasses on.
Right.
Like in, what is it? Not New Guy, but
the glasses.
Yeah, when
Back to the Future.
The real guy with Ryan Reynolds. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Free Guy.
Free Guy. Because we put the glasses on, and now you kind of all see.
Thank you, Bridget.
You see what's real and what's not. And it's just using that great gift to not scare yourself or frighten yourself, but to empower yourself and make choices based on you're seeing what many don't see and that are still trapped and you're not. It's a great gift in itself.
I agree. And
I'm like going to try and promote too, like looking at transits coming and being like, okay, this is a shitty transit.
But how are we going to, yes.
But like there's a reason, and something powerful's coming from this, and it's always a level up.
Sorry, everyone's commenting in.
Yes.
Thank you, Zoe and Bridget. Yeah, they say love and something else, chill or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're like,
I mean, I think Libra South Node's going to be easier than in Scorpio.
Yeah.
I think Libra's just much...
Oh, my God. Yes.
Libra's just not as...
Cute.
Maybe not in the beginning. Maybe not for the first, month or two. But I think, majority of it will be.
I mean, it's going to be based around a lot. That's why you've been saying that relationships are important, that people are aligned in any relationship. Because Libra is really, it's just a relationship. Whether it's, intimate, family, friends, all of those Libra things that, that looks pretty. I got distracted. That they're in alignment because that is going to be in the consciousness of everybody. It's going to be very, and I don't know, if you're not in it, then you got to North Node Aries your ass out of there.
Yeah, 100%.
But that South Node is always the stronger one. It's in Libra.
We're just going to find through Libra that when things are not balanced and beautiful and in alignment, that you have to assert your own authority and your power and initiate your path out of it. And to not forget about yourself too. Because with Pluto in Aquarius and a South Node in Libra, I mean, we could get way lost in the other. Thank
you, Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. I wanted to touch on that Bridget just brought that up. Will we have more twin flame stuff? Though that was an interesting phase. So that's another reason why I told Bryan that I was I'm just not resonating with Instagram, whatever, just social media. That's also to me right now the DEVIL, because I think that it's amazing if you're promoting something, you know what I mean, that you're whatever you're doing on there. If it's just stroking your ego, I just don't, and again, so guilty of that throughout many years. But when you go into the Explorer page or whatever that I said, in Instagram, is that if you type something in to search it and then all that stuff comes up, it's your twin flame is coming. Just hold on. Just this and that. And I was I bet people fucking sit here all day and literally get in this K-hole of okay, yeah, it's okay. He's just off, fucking somebody else, or she is, or whatever, but they're coming. And I was this is what I don't like about this narrative, because, I should read the thing that I saw about the divination system. And I like how this person put this, because I always said Isis and Osiris and Eros and Psyche, and this term, that type of connection is real. I don't know where this
I think it's going to be
verbiage came from.
I don't think it's going anywhere with the South Node in Libra.
No.
I mean, I think that if people wanted their divine union in Scorpio, they're definitely still going to want it in Libra. There's going to be a huge desire for that energy, but that partnership.
Not telling, I don't know, you just know by your energy with whoever, no reader can tell you that it's a soulmate, or I don't even want to, that it's a soul connection. Your body, your reaction, knows whether it's mutual or not. It's okay, whatever. It's, if you're projecting though, this obsession of whatever it is onto somebody else, it's obviously got to be mutual. That's where this whole crazy twin thing. So this was the only thing that I have read lately that I was okay, this makes sense, because this person is not trying to promote that narrative. It said, I have some, and this was just, I don't know, it was on some site that this person just wrote. They were just expressing themselves. I have some books about the cards of destiny, which is a very ancient divination system thought to predate conventional astrology and originating back to ancient Egypt. These books do not mention the term twin flames. This is a very modern label. However, these books do indeed talk about a particular type of soul connection in some people that results in a magnetic draw to each other. This connection is extremely powerful and results in one partner transforming spiritually and the other growing in maturity. The love, attraction, etc. runs equally between the two, which is unusual, and the connection itself is intense. Each partner is the partner of the other person's, dreams. So the connection described is exactly what people would say modern day twin flames are. And like, I've said this so many times, it's like, and Jeffrey Wolf Green, and like he said, like, it's like a paranormal, like, it's your body. It's like, it's not, you don't need anybody to tell you this. And whether, again, like a soul connection, that's just like what it is. Like, not fucking twin flames and all of this. Like, I guess it's really just the label. I mean, like, in our society, we have a problem with labels. There's like 8,500 genders now. And like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I'm just like, right? And if you have something with someone or not. Again, if it's mutual, I mean, you should also know when something's fucking karmic or not, because you're triggered by whatever energy that is, and how they're like treating you and whatnot. But like, it's just, we live in a labeled, like, I wonder where that all came from, a labeled society. And that makes everybody sensitive.
Pluto and Aquarius might.
I hope so.
Break out of a little bit, to be honest.
Like, I hope so, because it is like, I don't care. I don't walk around being like, I'm Lauren, I'm a heterosexual. Like, it's like, Bobo, do you. Like, be who you are going to be. I empower that. Like, 100%. It's like, but I don't understand why. It's almost like, for what? To bring up some narrative so people can argue about it? Like, it's crazy to me. Labels on anything. But I bring up the gender thing because that is so in this 3D, like that's a thing. That's like a new, pandemic. So it's just like, I want everybody to liberate themselves.
Same.
Like,
and that's where I think the twin flame thing debilitates people, is because it's such an obsession to some people. Like
it is projecting onto
that kind of a relationship, sure, it can exist. I mean, we don't want to like curse ourselves by getting in some crazy ideal of something that may not go the way we thought. So it's like, that has like destruction and kind of like discouragement written all over it, in the end, because one relationship for the first few years or for the first month or however long it is could feel like the most perfect thing in the world.
And it's all,
and then something happens, like things change. So
yeah, it doesn't mean that it wasn't real.
It's a beautiful fantasy.
Right.
It's very like Scorpio Pisces to me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to hope and idealize, to find that perfect mate and to live a life with someone that you just get on a soul level, and you guys.
But that's mutual.
Boom. That's the thing.
And it's all work.
With the twin flame thing too, is a lot of like, that's where it gets weird to me, and I'm like very turned off by it. Is I've seen so many times people be like, that's my twin flame, like on an Instagram post. Oh, yeah, he lives in New York. He's a stockbroker. He makes a lot of money. He doesn't know who I am, but he will. He feels it, though. Like,
yeah, right.
Okay, God bless.
Right.
Like, so, that's crazy.
Because
like, that's psychosis,
Oh, yeah, that's like 100%, like, especially... I mean, come on. You haven't even met... I'm not going to tell people what they're feeling isn't real, but you haven't, like, exchanged energy with any of these people. Like, come on.
If the twin flame thing is a thing, and it very well could be.
And there's all these rules, like, there has to be a big age gap and a this and a... It's like, who the fuck came up with all of this?
Red flag.
Like,
red flag.
What?
Yeah.
It is a... It's an activation.
It's going to be mutual. Like, you're going to meet the person and feel the thing, and they're going to feel the thing, and it's, the flame's going to come together.
Yes. And it's not, it's like, it's all, that's where I feel like, whether I'm triggered by it or not, I think that the reason I guess I get triggered by it is because I do really hope that it's not like, that's why the whole Instagram and like all this stuff, it's just like, I bet I could go back to a year ago and this post is probably the same thing. He's coming. It's coming. And it's like, wow, it's like the Great Flood. It's like, you know, and I always am going to go back to ancient times and like those connections, because that is like astrology, like the mythology of like Eros and Psyche and Isis and Osiris and Freya and Odin, all of that. They weren't fucking running around with any of this crazy shit. Like they were like, knew. let's go.
It wasn't like for Instagram clout.
And even back
Me
in
and my
like,
twin flame.
I mean, are you kidding me? Like even back in like the Roman days and everybody was, you know, switch hitting and doing all sorts of like, you know, it's not like this is anything new, you know, with men and women. It's just all like more accepted, but also so triggering for people. It's like, if you're labeling yourself, you're asking me to judge you. So just don't. Like, just don't. Who cares? Like, I just don't understand why we can't live in a society that's like, do you. Like, obviously, we all have to, like, you said that crazy thing that somebody told you. Like, if you're, like, walking around naked in your house, you're going to get arrested as a sex offender. We live in a crazy fucking world. It's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. And
There's
that somebody might be
rules.
triggered and they might be like, uh-oh, I saw a wiener or I saw a boob, so I'm going to call the cops because they've offended me. Like, you're joking. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild out there.
I
Saturn
agree,
world is wild.
It is wild. Bunch of rules, bunch of restrictions, bunch of stupid things that, like, who made this?
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's true, and it might have just been for California, but somebody told me they heard that if a man is caught, whether it's urinating in public, whether somebody saw their, you know, junk or not, but even just like anything, that it's like a felony, and you go on the sex offender list, or even if you're in your home and you had like a you know, window, you know, the blinds up, and you got out of the shower or something, and you know,
It's wild.
Somebody caught you, they could like report your house
because
you scarred them or something.
I'd be like, wait, what?
And I mean, look, I get it. Not everybody wants to see, you know, other people's junk.
They probably sat there and stared.
So, like, I get it to an extent, but, like, do we need to put people on a sex offender list for this?
I mean, it's...
Or can we just, like, accept wrong place, wrong time?
Listen.
Like, life threw a curveball at us, I'm going to have to move on. It's like that person in the house that got out of the shower and didn't even know you were there. It's not like they were molesting you, you know? So, everything's too personal.
Oh.
That's another like thing about this life is everybody takes everything so personally, whether it has literally nothing to do with that. Like it'll have nothing to do with a specific person, and they are upset, triggered.
Yeah, of course.
In a tizzy, having anxiety attacks.
I mean, and we've all like I mean, listen, like thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. I mean, listen, we've all like. It's crazy to...
Show me on the doll when he touched you.
Show me on the doll.
Right here.
Reese's Pieces. Look at it's like...
Right on the
And
pieces.
look at our nails match. I just realized this. I was like, wow, we are...
Oh my God, she was so funny.
I just love her because she's
that
winking.
little stuffy across the room and like...
I was like,
nails, and
wow.
she's like... We met! Oh my God, bitch! OMG! I was cracking up.
Because I was like, what do you think these are? They're like Reese's Pieces. I don't know. I just thought she was so cute because she's winking. I had to get... These are like... Because both of my animals passed away. So this is Gracie. And then the other one's, well, Bean. But it's really Winnie. So he had to have a girlfriend. So yeah, gas station finds when we were traveling. I was like, this is gold.
I know. We
got
got what we wanted from the gas
soft.
station on our drive home on Monday, and then I was like, I'm gonna use the bathroom before we leave. I should have, whatever. So I go back, and I come back, and she's got this stuffy. And I was like, wait, you went back in and got that? She's like, yeah.
Yeah, because I googled it on Amazon, and it was way more expensive, and I was like, this is ridiculous. It should be more marked up in a truck stop. So I went back and got it.
Truck stops always have the goods. Like You'll always catch me like looking at the electronic stuff in there. Like, what do they got in here?
Oh yeah, I always know to find you at the electronics.
What's going on?
Like,
what do they got?
You're like looking at a wallet or like something.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what is this?
They did have a kind of cool wallet, but mine's fine. So.
Yeah, I really do hope that Pluto, I mean, listen, Pluto in Aquarius is going to liberate the F out of everybody. And I hope it does for the collective that like is feeling stuck, especially in identity and all of that. I have so much compassion for that. And I think that I can't speak on experience of what that would be like, right? Like if somebody's transitioning or confused about their sexuality or whatever, like I have so much compassion for that.
I do too.
It's like, yeah, it's just these labels. That is what it's it just needs to be label-less because it's not with anything, right? Like the twin flame thing, all of it. It's just like, it's energy that it's like tapping into your fucking energy and what you feel and stop following. Like, listen, when I first was waking up, I fucking watched tarot all the time. Okay. All the time. And probably told myself some narrative and then I'd be like triggered and I'd be like, oh, I'm not watching that one because they're like fucking Pisces.
That's like you the other day. Like you started pulling some cards.
Oh, I know.
And you were pulling a lot of good cards.
But then I just kept
and
going.
Then she just keeps pulling them. And then eventually a card, that she doesn't want to see comes up. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you keep pulling, like eventually you're going to see a card you don't want to see. Like, what do you...
I know they were all good. And then I'm like, oh, 10 of Swords left. We can't invest in that because we're going to fucking lose it all. I'm like, right. Like, of course.
Gotta stop somewhere. Like, that's where the rabbit hole...
I know. Yes, that you can...
I mean, we were having fun, obviously. That was just playing around. But like...
I just started throwing them around.
When you start like...
But I did. I went through a phase where I got rid of I had 200 decks and I was like, I am literally just doing tarot all fucking day. Like, this is like, and I would.
You have more tarot decks than David. It's fucking impressive.
I know.
Like, fucking
got
crazy.
a whole, because I was like very visual. It's like, I want to look at all of
I
them.
have a drawer full of tarot cards. Lauren has a trunk that can't even fit them all.
My Taurus moon went through a phase.
Put them in my drawer.
And it makes sense why I went through that phase through astrology because my progressed moon was in Scorpio. And I was like, oh my God. And it's not that I was way too in my ego then because a lot of what was manifesting, it was like the divine was like, right. But then my ego just... I became a tyrant. I was like, no, I want to know more. I want to know more. I want to know more. And so I literally like had to cold turkey myself. I had to go get a storage unit to put my tarot to be like, yeah, you've gone way too Scorpio into like obsession land. Like literally, I like knew that, but I had to like really recognize that and be like, okay, I gotta wean off the tarot. And so now I can... Yeah, I mean, now I'm sure I will still get triggered, but I can see it in a different way from like detaching from it and knowing that like that's not healthy, right? That's an addiction if you're just fucking, like I was like scrying, fucking looking in a mirror all day, like getting crazy.
I think astrology is very similar, right? Like we were talking earlier, like about the transits and how you were sitting there in that chair at the dentist, like, these fucking planets, at that moment. And like, I've done a horoscope every day for over 3 years. I know where the planets are. I know my chart like the back of my hand to the degree and to the minute. Just, there it is. I know it all. And yeah, every time I see a transit come for my stuff, I acknowledge that it's happening. Right. And you know what? I honestly, even as an astrologer,
I know, this is why I would like to know what it's like to be like a Capricorn and Aquarius where I could just be like, fuck, what is it like to not like have to feel all the time?
I'm just meant for the experience.
I know.
Like I'm just built for experience. So I've realized the more I'm in my head, the more I'm not as productive or as happy.
Right.
So I think I've just gotten really good at like acknowledging that something is potentially going to come or something can happen.
And we have no control,
and then
really.
using it also knowing in the back of my head, like, okay, if something happens, like, well, how would I want to respond to certain situations? So I kind of have a little bit of a plan, but I don't think too much about it. I just kind of walk away. So, I mean, I guess I'm lucky. I honestly say I'm so lucky to have an Aquarius moon.
Yeah.
because, yeah, I don't get super attached.
Oh, we were using runes last night. Sorry, I always interrupt you when I'm looking at the chat. And they're not all tarot decks. I have probably more oracle than tarot decks. But again, that was just...
Oh, thank you, Debbie.
That was my phase. And yeah, we pulled some runes last night. Yeah. And then like did the whole altar thing. That does make me feel good when I'm like in like, you know, like a space like that. But right. I could get like, let's keep going with the cards. What is 3 of Cups? What's going to be the surrounding cards? Like, right. You can, and I think that too, you can't, right, are we ever really, our ego is in the way if we're ever reading for ourselves. Like there is going to be a part of that.
You'll never catch me in here. You'll never walk in when I'm in here just pulling cards for myself. Have you ever seen me pull a card for myself?
Men don't really do that. So, I mean, that's another thing. It's
I pull 3 cards every day.
I mean, unless you're like a guy that's into tarot that's like all Scorpio maybe.
I love
but
tarot.
Like, but men don't sit there and fucking pull that shit for themselves.
I like it with astrology or as like a yes or no. If I was ever going to pull for myself, it's like, it's going to be like a yes or no. And...
yeah. Oh, I just use the Magic 8-Ball app for that. I just use that. I'm like, ancestors.
But also, like, okay, so I know when transits are going to come, and I'm very aware of what's happening in my chart. And, yeah, like, I acknowledge it, but I don't really, I kind of just, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Like, I'm, like, prepared.
Right, because there's a shadow and a light to every transit.
Like, as an astrologer and a consulting one, and I've worked with a lot of clients, it's like, I understand, too, wanting to know certain things, or if you know, I think astrology is really potent if you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
To kind of know maybe that it had purpose, that it wasn't just like bad luck.
Oh, of course. I
I
don't ever think it's bad luck.
And to get like a nice outline of what the future
right
can bring, like a good like
a flavor of it.
Yeah, like.
No, yeah, and that's why a lot of the times you do, like, you're like, let's go back to the, you know, why in astrology you got to go back to the past to see, because like I said, the other day I was like, oh, Karma and Pandora and yeah, just another layer in Pisces. I was like, let me go back and see what was there, and I was like, right, nothing crazy, because karma could also mean good karma. Like, I mean, I'll get into these where it's like like tunnel vision, right? Where then it's like, okay, I gotta just like go by how I feel, really, especially as a Pisces. But it's not even just my Mercury. It's because of all that 6th house. Like I'm gonna decode it and I'm gonna find out, because like Saturn being on all my planets, it's like Saturn and Venus, sure, there's the shadow side to it, but then there's a beautiful side to it. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Bye. So it's like, I think that's looking at both sides of the light and dark of the transits or whatever it's conjuncting or squaring or opposing, like that there is reward in that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, even like Elizabeth, right? She said, I'm not great at tarot yet. Well, how do you even judge that?
Yeah.
Like tarot, I think the best tarot readers don't use necessarily a traditional...
No, they look at
out of the book something
the
for
image.
it. Like there's something that hits them,
Yes.
a feeling that they get, a vision that they get. Like that's where
intuitive readers.
So I mean, even for me, sometimes, honestly, like it's not always just every time I pull a card or in a horoscope. Like I'm not always getting some vision or feeling from it. Sometimes I am kind of like, okay, well I guess I'll use this term, but you will every now and then get those like extreme intuitive hits. That's the gift of tarot, and
that's why I have so many decks, literally, because like I said, like the imagery, like really like looking at it, not just, oh, it's a 3 of Cups, so it means that you're celebrating or you're in a third party situation. Like I've never even read like I mean, I know what they mean, but I've never like sat there and been like, okay, I gotta read tarot to learn it. It's just like, if anything, it's like astrology. It's a language that you're relearning from a past like life, and that those are the best readers of that intuitively, or just like feel that or hears that, whatever it is, and like looking at the card, like what you feel.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
That's the banger when you get that. It
Yeah.
can be completely unrelated to the card, too. That's the
card
crazy thing. And then that's
right.
having the confidence to say what came in that moment. That's where you'll kill it. But,
Yeah.
there's no real judge. But I would say a good way to test it is not to read for yourself, for one, and to read for other people.
Yeah, or
To
just
read
like
for a family member or a friend. Be like, can I pull a
yeah.
card? Like, can I pull a card for you? And just let me know if this is how you're like, I'm trying to work on seeing how so I want to pull a card for, like, maybe your energy for the day.
I'm gonna
And
go
it could
get
be
that
at the
book.
end of the day, and you could, like, ask them, is this true? Like, that's a good way to check, too. Because really, like, you don't know if you're good or not at tarot until you pull cards for people and it makes an impact or not, in my opinion. And maybe you have. But I bet you're probably better than you think you are, to be honest.
I'm going to show them my Gene Key book.
Gene Key book.
Yeah, because I saw that on that.
Lauren's always got a new book to share with you. Do you have any questions? Is there any questions? I think astrology is it is the key. It's a map. It really is like a map to me. It's a great map that I don't even know if the most profound astrologers can fully read every little detail, but it's possible to. And you can get damn close.
Will you please open that for me?
But damn, it is a map, and you can really see big turning points and situations. It's just sometimes how things manifest isn't always what we think. Sometimes it's just a little different, but you can look back at the energy and then be like, that makes sense. The Gene Keys, Richard Rudd. Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I could go to this camera next time you share it.
Oh.
This one will be not blurry.
Yeah, a girl, Blue, BLU. She's like a very... I don't know. She was at Conscious Life Expo, and she's very popular. She was on Gaia, and obviously human design is the Gene Keys. But wow.
What's with people walking off and leaving you posted?
Me.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
She put LOL.
Oh, I was just curious if it was a question, because I asked if they had any questions.
No, meaning me, because I walked off.
Oh, what's with people walking off and leaving you posted? I don't know if they're talking about you.
Oh, maybe not. Aussie slang, she says.
Oh, Aussie slang.
No need to be sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely not.
I was just curious.
Yeah, palms are cool. I want to get a palm reading.
It basically is us in our lounge room chatting. Welcome.
Yeah. And you can go, I went to genekeys.com to see what are my, and she said, when you unlock this shit, it's powerful. And I would agree. Deanna has a question.
Bryan, I noticed you use the Porphyry house system. Is there a reason you prefer that house system? Also, how do you interpret a planet placement that changed depending on house system? I'm going to pick this up and then answer that question. I use the Porphyry house system because, to me, it represents the Trinity, mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit. It puts the quadrants, because it's a quadrant house system, which I do prefer the quadrant house systems. I like whole sign too. I just do that in my head. I don't need to run the chart. Like if somebody has a big intercept, I'm always thinking about the whole sign house that it would rule, and kind of giving that house more prominent, more like presence than, say if it's split and like that planet rules two houses. The one that in a whole sign house system it would rule, that's the one I'm more keyed in on, but we'll mention the other one just in case because I could play. But it splits the quadrants into equal thirds between like the ascendant and the midheaven. So like the 10th, 11th, and 12th will all be the same degree in spacing. So I just really resonate with it. There is no right or wrong house system. I really think people should play around with them and find which one they think works the best for them, or that they read the best, or that they understand the best. Placidus, I don't know the equation for Placidus. Like, I could draw a porphyry chart because I understand it. You know, if I pull up an ephemeris and find what time the sun rose that day, what the midheaven was when the sun hit its apex in the sky, its highest peak, then I know right then and there what the ascendant is, the descendant, because the descendant is going to be exactly opposite the ascendant, and the IC is going to be exactly opposite the midheaven. So I just already know right there what those are, and then dividing those up is just simple math. So I just get it, and it makes sense to me. And I feel like it's a more spiritual house system to me. Which, if you've ever had a reading with me, or my readings are more of a spiritual, like, soul dive, because I do evolutionary astrology. So yeah, that's why I use it. And yeah, again, like, I will use whole sign and even equal sign sometimes, depending, but more often it's like between porphyry and whole sign, but I'm just going to do whole sign in my head. So like, Jupiter's about to come into Taurus. If I was looking at someone's chart and their 8th house was Taurus 15 degrees, well, in a whole sign chart, I would already know too that their 8th house is Taurus.
Yes, Lana.
So I'll, say, oh, it's coming into your 8th house, or it's coming into this in whole sign, so you might be feeling the effects of the 8th house now, and then as it comes into the Placidus or porphyry, whatever the quadrant system is, that's when I think it's like locked in,
Lana,
So-
we're telepathic, because I literally was just thinking when I just got up, I was like, when you started talking, I don't know, Draconic came into my mind, but then I was like, oh, we've already talked about that. But what I do feel like is interesting is how we like manifest things before they happen, because we, in the car driving up to Grass Valley, we're talking randomly. I just started asking about like Vedic, right? And then we talked to your magical fucking friend at
my homie Justin.
that guy's, another magic. I know. Can we just move?
I know, Justin's so cool. He's a really good Vedic astrologer from Nevada City,
Fascinating.
Grass Valley, and I went to high school with him, and he's a year older than me, and it's so cool that he got so deep into the Vedic system. But we would just like hang out at this spot that I used to go to a lot, and we would just chat it up about astrology, and he's so good at Vedic.
And he
and
said,
I think I'm decent enough at tropical. But anyways, we could just go back and forth and see the correlations.
yeah, he's very open-minded.
And I love that about him, because
But he said he had to let go of his Leo ego. He said, because now he's a Cancer in Vedic.
A lot of Vedic astrologers won't humor tropical. They're very no.
Right.
Many will. I'm not trying to say everyone's like
I
that.
think they're both important.
And it goes the same way. Some tropical astrologers are like, nope. So I think they're
Lana.
both, they're both two sides of the same coin. And just like having different house systems in play, there are different zodiacs in play. Draconic, Vedic, tropical, or sidereal, I should say. But they all play. Like, I'm a Sag in Vedic astrology, not a Capricorn. But my Venus, my Mercury, they're still in Capricorn. So it's like, all right, no wonder. I still have this like Capricorn way of thinking or relating. But my Mars is in Sagittarius in tropical, and okay, so my Sun, Saturn, and Neptune, Uranus move into Sag. So yeah, you know what? I can see where that Sag quality plays out, especially because I'm an Aries rising. Mars rules my chart in Sag. Yeah, I have a Sagittarius quality to myself either. I'm very optimistic. I'm always kind of looking for a bright side. Like, oh yeah, go on a journey. Let's fucking see what happens.
And I'm fucking all Aquarius.
Kind of like jovial in that sense. And but then my Mars is also in the 8th house, but my Mars moves into Scorpio in Vedic. So I'm like, okay, like, that makes sense. I have Pluto, Mars in the 8th house in tropical. But yeah, having my...
Francine said, is it the star sign before our sun? Yeah, right?
It's 24 degrees before whatever your planet is. So like a good example, my moon is 24 degrees, 22 minutes of Aquarius. In Vedic astrology, my moon is 0 Aquarius.
Mm-hmm. My moon's in Aries.
Just stayed in Aquarius.
My moon would be in Aries, and that's all Aquarius. But wait, he said my moon's in Kritika. Oh no, maybe my moon's 0 Taurus. I don't know, but That's why we started talking about it, because I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, and he told me, he was like, he's like, your karma in this lifetime, he's like, is like giving back, like whatever it is, it's a karmic debt. He goes with younger men. And of course I started laughing, but he said more of like that I should give to like, to balance the karma in this life, that I should give to like whether firefighters or police officers or like the VA or something. And I was like, oh, I totally fucking resonate with that. I was like, I can see where like whatever type of like charity, like that I don't have to keep doing it, but like give and it'll balance it. And I was like,
yeah. I was telling him when we were up there over the weekend, like if we move back up there, like him and I should do a workshop.
Totally.
On like tropical and sidereal, and because we like both genuinely enjoy the conversation and like hearing the perspective and seeing the correlations, and yeah, it's
not on Astrogo. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, babe. Draconic isn't on Astrogo, but it's on Astrodienst.
Yeah, it's not on the phone
just
app
go under
Astro
Dienst has all of them. Your progress chart, your Draconic chart. I love that we got on the Draconic chart, because we even told I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Justin.
Yeah,
he had never heard of it.
And he was even like, I could see he was being a little activated by the Draconic chart, because we were like, it is your higher self chart. It's past lives where you should look.
Rahu, the North Node, is such a big part of the Vedic astrology, as it is with tropical, but in different ways. And to have the Draconic chart really based off your North Node, I think is like a very, like it definitely, like he was like, yeah, that's interesting, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was like super excited. He would have been a Virgo in his Draconic chart, but then he
he learned tropical first, so he thought he's like, oh yeah, I'm a Leo. Leo.
Well, he's definitely.
And then he goes to Cancer, and he was kind of just like, but his chart changes a lot. He goes from Scorpio rising, Leo sun in the 10th, to in Vedic being a Libra rising, Cancer sun. Yeah. Which is like
that would shift. For a Leo sun and a Scorpio rising, that would be a hard one to let go of. I get that. But he does
have both, like, and just it's so funny, like hanging out with him and knowing him, he has both those traits. Like he's very like, there's a penetrating quality to him. Yeah. Like he has like the intensity to him. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, very Cancerian. He also has this like really friendly, kind of bubbly vibe, kind of like, oh yeah, and then it kind of get intense about something, and then
no, he's got. I would say I was actually surprised he was like a Leo. I would say that he was more like of water, for sure, because his. Yeah, not just because, like, that's kind of the vibe up there. Like, people are just more, like, chill and, like, relax. But when he spoke to you, he had, like, he's definitely got a gift. And, like, how crazy, right? Fucking, you guys went to school together and you're both astrologers and, like, probably will do, like, workshops and stuff, because he is somebody that, right, he did say, though, it took him a long time to, like, get over that, like, ego hump, not just of his sign, but in terms of tropical and all that he knows that I do believe that he, like, knows they're all, the layers to it. And, like, especially with Draconic, you can take, I guess this is more in synastry, but if you, like, look at people's whatever in the natal to your Draconic or vice versa, like, that is telling too. Yeah. Very, very, very telling.
It's apparently very karmic when you have somebody's planets in your Draconic chart. So their planets in their tropical chart, they fall in the 12th house, or flip that to where their Draconic chart falls a lot in your 12th house tropical. Like, there's a lot of karma there.
I mean,
which doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but it's kind of here to get resolved.
I am telling you, like, now knowing astrology, that's why I always knew I was like a Pisces, but I'm telling you, like, when we talk about Venus Scorpio, Mars Scorpio and all this shit, I'm like, God, I really feel like that because I resonate so much with my Draconic chart, like internally, like in my, maybe that I don't necessarily show outwards, like it does feel like my soul, like I'm like, I fucking resonate with my Draconic. And maybe other people don't, but I'm almost like, is that just their ego getting in the way? Because like I really do feel like it is, because you're like all Aquarius in yours.
Mm-hmm.
You got a Pisces Venus though, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like we're going to be hearing more about like the draconic charts and stuff like to come.
Yeah, I think so.
I just think I personally intuitively like just in myself, but then when I've done it with other charts, I'm just like, this makes sense. Like on an intuitive level. So I think that the reason I like to bring that up or talk about it or get excited, because I'm like, everybody should. Like that's a chart you should be researching. I feel, because also you got to think when there's transits in the sky, it's hitting your, like the south node is on my draconic Venus right now. I'm like, fuck, no wonder I've been so emotional besides being a Pisces. But like it does, right? Progressions, all of that is so important. Yeah.
There's so many layers. It's all all relevant. It's all important.
But that's why I asked you the other day, what would be your top 3 charts?
There's my top 3, of course, like the natal is the top. That's the base.
Well, of course.
Natal chart number 1. For me, then it's progressions. It's transits and progressions. Like those are my 3 that I'm pretty much gonna always look at for a reading, and I feel like I can get really deep with. When I have like returning clients and stuff though, and then solar arcs is a close, 3rd, 4th. Like I'm gonna look at solar arcs too, but it is like natal transits, progression, solar arcs that are my like bread and butter, I guess, if you will. But when I get people returning, or if I, whatever the case may be, like that's when I start looking at some other stuff. Or in some occasions with people, the first time around, it might be like I pull up the Draconic chart.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna look at this chart.
Yeah.
But then, of course, too, it depends on the situation.
You're probably guided to what, like,
exactly, because if I'm looking at
too.
and I like to look at destiny cards with people.
Yeah, which I think is a great
usually at the
add
end,
to your reading. Yeah.
If there's a lot of like lunar aspects to them or something, or they're going through a rough emotional time, and say their moon, like the moon's in Aquarius right now, like say they're just about to have a lunar return, or they just had a lunar return, I might pull up the lunar return and like see what's up for this lunation for them for this month. In that chart, like that's another layer on top of all these other layers. Or a solar return chart, like if somebody just had their birthday, like then I'm more inclined to pull up that layer in the reading, because I want to see. And it's like, oh, okay. And with solar returns and lunar returns, I think it's really important to know the location of where they were on that day. So that's why it's not something that I'll like pre-pull up or be like, yeah, I'm gonna get this ready for them, because I don't know where they were on their birthday. Like I gotta ask that question in the moment, or if it seems relevant. So those will come up, but it's more those 3.
And solar arcs, I then started looking into those when you were like, you were like, if something transits there, and I was like, really?
Well,
and then
solar arcs are crazy.
I went back to the past with mine, and I was like, oh, there's something to this. Okay.
Solar arcs are truly once in a lifetime hits, because everything arcs forward 1 degree per year. So you're never going to get like a retrograde or something crossing over the same space. Every year it's progressing the chart to a new degree forward. So, solar arcs conjuncting your natal planet.
You said it originally when we were talking about, which sparked my interest, is because you're like, if something hits your solar arc vertex, and I was like, solar arc, and had to
keep an eye on your solar arc vertex.
Yeah.
Because when transits hit that,
you'll feel it.
It'll
be something.
That's a thing. Or you'll meet people with placements around that at certain times too. The solar arc vertex is a trip.
Yeah, because you could get overwhelmed with how many layers. But again, I think that when you look at their natal chart, right, probably some people you're like, this isn't that exciting, so I put more layers together, which is in itself, really like unlocking and uncovering their soul mystery. So I think you intuitively, it's like tarot, right? What charts are you going to pull?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to pull up natal transits and progressions.
Yeah.
Anything else is situation,
Right. Yeah.
whatever. But those are my top three, and then I'll go wherever I go. Fuck, someone just had a Venus return. I might pull up their Venus return.
Yeah.
Or their Mars return, you know? Like, there's a chart for everything.
Got any Venus returns in the house?
You know?
Where's Venus and Cancer? Oh, that's right. It's in Cancer. That's why it's been more emotional. Venus is in Cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this
if
is
you
so
want,
Venus and Cancer.
join the study
moment.
group that we're going to be starting on the 22nd. I'm going to lead it. I think Lauren's going to take part in it. I'm not sure. We haven't... If she wants to.
Yeah,
It's up to her.
Yeah. I'm available. Absolutely.
But that's like a good place, too, where... I just think we can all have these conversations together. It's going to be on Zoom. You'll have, a microphone and we can all talk, but it's going to have like certain subjects and we can look at charts. I'm going to just spew out a bunch of information on stuff that I know, and then hopefully people with the placement can give maybe their life experience with that particular whatever it might be, and maybe I'll learn something from that experience too. So that's kind of the goal, but it's definitely going to be cool, and it's a good place too, like if you want to get your stuff dissected.
Yeah. We're
definitely going to pull up people's charts in there if they want it pulled up and look at it. Like there'll be a lot of like reading going on of people's stuff.
Oh, like I think that you're going to it's like literally a rabbit hole. You can just
I mean, it's wide open. Like we might start with one subject, and depending on the class and what's of interest, it could go to something completely different, or
Yeah, I think that it shouldn't always be one
it wouldn't be so much like a reading as it would be like a dissecting of it, and like we all are going to kind of learn together. So
yeah, no, I think that's you look tan.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm white boy.
But like, look at this camera. Oh, there you are. Yeah, But you can be out in the sun for like 20 minutes and it's just like...
Yeah, I get tan.
Have you gotten Edgar on your arm yet?
No. Edgar, I think he's mad. Like, we left.
And I see him every morning. He was with his boo today.
He's not hopping around. It's because we don't have peanuts in the shell out there. I need to get him some blueberries. Like, I just have things...
He's never ate the fruit.
I gotta do, but we're leaving tomorrow. And it's just like...
Yeah.
Someday.
AZ, here we come.
Yeah.
Well, Mother's Day. Oh, so happy
Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there, whether it's with real live soul humans or fur babies, or I don't care, squishmallow babies. Yeah. I know.
Does anybody have any questions before we
and
wrap it up?
Thank you, Steph. Any more like what is the next big thing is what? Venus retrograde. So we got a while.
Oh, I think Jupiter Taurus is the next that's the next big thing to me, and then Pluto square the nodes, Venus retrograde, the nodes ingress. There's a lot of big things. Mars opposite Pluto, T-square Jupiter.
Ooh, Mars opposite Pluto.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say moon. I was like,
Poor Mars in Cancer. Gosh, Mars, we have just been through quite the Mars over the last fucking 10 months. Retrograde in Gemini.
I know everybody was talking shit about Mars and Aries retrograding in 2020. I was like, fuck, bring it.
That one was fine.
Oh my God. Yes.
We're all
Mars
God,
and
it's
Gemini.
Gonna feel so good when Mars gets into Leo though. Like, it's gonna oppose Pluto, sure.
No, we need it in some fire.
Mars and Leo is gonna fucking light some fires, in hopefully a good way for ourselves. But it's definitely gonna bring some more charisma to the table that will
Jupiter,
probably be
Mars, Moon,
helping
Grand
us
Trine.
be more creative too.
Yeah. I keep forgetting where Jupiter is. Oh, it's almost in Taurus, and Mars in the Moon. Oh, yeah.
Well, Jupiter and Mars are going to be in square. But the one in Virgo, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I like Jupiter moon. Jupiter's gonna be on my moon.
It's a lot of emotion.
Oh, well.
Ah.
Uranus.
Could be a lot of really good feelings. Could be a lot of really bad feelings.
Oh my God, what are you
It
telling
just
me
depends
right
on each
now?
person. It depends on how everybody's doing.
It's gonna be ninth house shit.
Oh, I was not talking about you. I was just talking about in general.
I was like, wait, what?
No, I'm stoked for your Jupiter in the ninth.
Yeah, I read. Oh my
Fuck
God,
yeah.
this other thing that I read said.
Climbing out of the hole.
I'm ready for. It's gonna be in your second house, so that'll be good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jupiter goes direct on the 14th. Or I'm sorry, Mercury does. So yeah, 3 days. Did I say Monday?
I don't know where I put the thing, but it was about like when a planet hits how it brings luck or something, and it was saying that when Jupiter transits the ninth house or it's in its home sign, so we're not going to have Jupiter in Sag for a long time, but if anybody has transiting Jupiter, like
Yeah, Jupiter in the ninth is a vibe.
yeah, so whatever because it's if it's not in its, I get it now. If it's not in its home sign, Jupiter in Sag, if it's
house.
in the ninth house, because that's its home. Oh my God, look at me. I'm just finally connecting all the dots. Because I was like, why would they? And I'm telling you, Jupiter in Sag is a fucking vibe. So please let it be. I mean, it's going to square my South Node and my Mercury, but it'll be on my, it'll be on my Chiron. But ninth house things. So maybe I'll be traveling in my mind. Yeah.
I pulled up the chart for the horoscope I'm going to do tomorrow, and it was just a couple minutes away from my lunar return.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'll look like that.
Oh, this is for your horoscope that you're about to record?
Yeah, pretty much. A few minutes in the future of that horoscope I'm going to do, but that's the next month
look
of my
at
life.
you.
Look at us. Saturn,
But-
moon in the 7th. Ooh, a lot of relationships.
Oh,
stuff.
lots
A lot
of
relationship
relations.
work. Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
square
what
the sun in the 10th, literally.
like
Yeah.
real talk,
Fuck.
that's what it was today. I was like, oh my God, our composite is gonna fucking not be abundant. And he's just like,
Oh, but look at this. This is the best part. Venus, Saturn in trine with the sextile triangle to the North Node and Mercury in the ninth. And how Jupiter's there. Oh yeah, positive.
God,
Leo rising. Gosh, this is like, how do we connect to a loving, just understanding of our future together?
right.
And the value of life. Oh my gosh.
Good night, Francine.
And stay on those tracks.
Yeah.
And get out of our mind, especially for me. Don't go there, which is so easy for me.
I cannot wait for that South Node to get out of my third house.
I love when the South Node's in my third because I'm just like not a very third house person.
Oh my God, it's just like
My Mercury's retrograde in the 10th. It's just like, if it ain't important to me, if I don't care about it, I just don't care.
it has been intense. It's like having a Mercury in Scorpio, I'm telling you. It's been like too much. Too much. I'm excited for, well, I don't know if I'm excited for it to go into my second or eighth, but I'm excited for the switch of energy. I am.
Mars, Venus. Mars trine.
Taurus,
Neptune.
Scorpio, we knew was going to be no fucking joke, and I hope that people did so much healing and so much, like, honestly, like, looking in the mirror and inner work, because that would have been the best nodes for that. But it can bring up a lot of fear.
Yeah, it can.
So I really hope that, like, people that either have that in their chart, especially, really, like, went to the knowing their fucking value and went to the north, and even if it was like crawling, or if you are still crawling, but I think all of us, you know, because that's got to be the hardest South Node to go to the north. It's got to be the hardest one.
Yeah, I mean, that axis, even South Node, Taurus, North Node, Scorpio, like that's a challenge too. But that probably is one of the harder
Because
nodal
Taurus can
axes.
also, it knows its value, but it's Venusian shit too, so it can get slothful in its,
very. Yeah, that's
in
the
its
issue.
ways.
North Node Scorpio
Yeah.
needs to learn how to change and go deeper into life and stop being so comfortable with your stuff. Go be emotional. Go be passionate. Well, how much passion does that couch give you?
I mean, all the North Node Scorpio
that nice
people
car,
I
is
know
that really
are,
giving you the edge and the
yeah.
intensity out of life you want?
Gosh, I don't know. Those desires, if it's a strong South Node, people have that. It's the fucking underworld. Yeah. So I really hope that, well, I'm sure most did go back to, I mean, a South Node Scorpio, doesn't that sound exciting? I mean, not with maybe your finances, but yeah, with fucking people and passion. But then that's where I'm saying is like, I feel like people probably, obviously, let's be honest, a lot of people went into that. And when it gets to Aries and Libra, that will show if that shit was correct.
100%.
Or not. Like, honestly, like if they built the relationships on a North Node Taurus of value, yes. I'm like, that will just make it stronger.
It was just built on sex or twin flame.
Or just like, and just obsession and like, I've got to, like, I'm not letting you go or what, like.
That's, Gosh, that's where things are so cool, is that hopefully people are relating from a very self-empowered place. Yeah. Which is so good for relationships with other people. That people don't feel so reliant on another person and more reliant on themselves, but can still relate that in a positive way.
And Libra's beauty. Like, it wants, like... Yeah, it doesn't want... I mean, I'm sure it does want some scorpionic shit, but it also is going to be like, wow, did I wake up and is this guy just, like, a drug user? Like, even though he's really fucking hot and he plays, guitar sometimes, or what would be a sexy instrument? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
he's just like, no, I don't really like in the
Come on, just use that fantasy mind of yours and dream up something.
It'd be mine would be Jared Leto, fucking 100%. So yeah, he's a Capricorn, but I don't know.
Yeah, you like Capricorns.
Yeah.
What's his face? God, I want to say Johnny Depp, but he was in the movie with Johnny Depp.
He's a Gemini.
Matthew
McConaughey is a Scorpio.
No, McConaughey, that other motherfucker.
Yeah, and I love me some Matthew McConaughey too.
Orlando Bloom.
Oh, fucking love him. Yeah. He is, and Aquarius rising. Yeah, he's, okay, so, right, like, if that shit showed up in your life, you definitely went there, and but then it's like, right, I guess that Scorpio mask is coming off, and it's like, well, wait, so, like, you're not, like, gonna, you don't really...
You're not gonna use your tongue like that all the time?
You don't really play 6 days a week just once. And, oh, wow, you've had all these hidden obsessions or addictions or people. There's somebody in your bed. What was that crazy movie you watch, Intrusion, on Netflix? It was good, Intrusion. It's very, like, that is some scorpionic shit. That guy was, if you want to see, that might be what the relationships are like. There's in the Intrusion. Like, they intruded themselves into the South Node, and now, let's hope it's glue. Yeah, love you guys.
We'll catch you all next time. Thanks for hanging with us.
Okay, love you guys, and we'll see you soon. Happy Mother's Day. Mwah.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas.
Bye.
Bye.